Come walk with me in one of the most popular destinations that can only be accessed through a digital device. This is downtown Willow Creek, a neighborhood that's part of the revolutionary video gaming series The Sims. Launching 25 years ago this week, the game has captivated players by the hundreds of millions, allowing them to create and control virtual lives. We paid a visit to The Sims headquarters to take a closer look at the franchise's success. But first, let's head back to the year it all began. Marking the start of the new millennium, boy bands and pop stars topped the charts. Technology took flight toward the cosmos.
The International Space Station is finally both up and running.
While back on Earth,
one survivor.
An inaugural group of castaways changed reality TV forever. All during a time when more than 70% of Americans didn't have a cell phone. And only about half of U.S. households had a computer.
You've got mail.
If you were playing especially computer games back then, you were probably playing on the family computer.
Phil Salvador catalogs the not-so-distant past as the library director for the Video Game History Foundation.
Around 2000, that was when we started seeing some advances in video game hardware that were happening. People were getting excited about first-person shooters and Halo and games like that.
But the video game development company Maxis was trying something different: simulation gaming, video games intended to imitate real-life activities. Spearheaded by legendary game designer Will Wright.
Will Wright actually lost his home in the Oakland Hills fire in 1991, and he had to start literally rebuilding his life, and that became the inspiration for an idea that he called Dollhouse.
Initially a virtual construction game, Dollhouse didn't draw much interest. But when Maxis was bought by rival Electronic Arts, EA became intrigued by the quirky game it had acquired.
Over time, they realized, well, people like telling stories. And that was around the time they were like, well, the people are what's important. That's what gets people excited, is interacting with these little simulated people. And that's when they changed it from Dollhouse to The Sims. So there's the Goth family. We can zoom in on them.
The Sims would spend nearly a decade in development, eventually creating a digital space where players are in control of their virtual beings, their environments, and how they live their lives.
Sims don't actually think for themselves.
When the game first debuted in February 2000, people didn't know what to make of it.
You don't need to know what they're saying, but you get the emotion.
At the time, I remember thinking, it's a game, I have to win. How do I win at this game?
Yeah, because it is a game where you're helping people do chores around the house and use the toilet and things like that. And it's not the most immediately compelling game idea. But once people started seeing it hands-on, I think they realized there was something special happening there. Even in an era where the PlayStation 2 was coming out, the Xbox was coming out, people said, this is new, this is something different.
The Sims quickly became a cultural phenomenon. By 2002, it was the best-selling PC game in history.
How much of a gamer are you?
Oh, I love games. I love playing with other people and competing.
Lifelong gamer Laura Millet is president of EA Entertainment, Technology, and Central Development.
What does it mean to you that you're celebrating a 25th birthday?
Yeah. Well, gosh, time has gone by fast, that's for sure. But it is also humbling to look back on all of the people that we've impacted, and multiple generations of people grew up with The Sims.
All while redefining what it means to be a gamer. With women making up around 60% of The Sims' most recent player base, the franchise has reached more than 500 million players, the largest brand in the life simulation space.
What do you think the key to having the longevity that you've had in this marketplace is?
I think that The Sims is such an amazing open canvas and sandbox for creators to come in and have self-expression. They can bring this content into the game, so a player, whether you're 12 or 82, you can always be connected to the culture that you love through The Sims.
As for the culture makers, they have love for the game too.
So I've been playing The Sims since I was like 9.
Earlier this week, Doja Cat joined The Sims' celebratory 25-hour live stream. Even the freshly crowned Best New Artist, Chappell Roan, has shown interest in being Simified, joining the likes of the Black Eyed Peas,
Run
and Glass Animals' Dave Bailey in re-recording their songs in Simlish. Yes, I said Simlish,
Sekalau Jonkers.
the fictional language created just for the game.
Like, if I was in the game and there's a spider crawling at me, I'd be like, Sekalau Jonkers! Sekalau Jonkers! Sekalau Jonkers!
Simlish was a brilliant concept for The Sims, I have to say.
Rachel Franklin is EA's senior vice president.
What it does is it allows the player to be able to say, I think they're saying this.
But what's teeny?
And allowing for choice and creativity and meaning that's directly connected to the player. It's so exciting.
Under Franklin's direction, the latest version of the game, Sims 4, is the most widely played title within the franchise. Putting representation at the forefront, it's credited with giving players the greatest control over customizing their Sims and what's built within the game.
We get stories all the time about how people, for example, they want to be an architect. And so they go and they play with building in The Sims. And that translates into, hey, I was able to get my dream job as an architect because of all of that time I spent playing. There's also a lot of people that experiment with their own lives in The Sims. Or some people will build a family, find what makes them happy through this cause and effect with these little people.
It's a safe space to try something you might not have tried.
It's a safe space, and it's an optimistic universe. It's a place where, in the end, it all works out.
Here's your note.
Which, in celebrating its 25th birthday, is exactly what you could say for the Sims franchise.
Where does The Sims rank in our gaming lives and in history?
In terms of importance, it is very close to the top of the list. When you think about games that really broke ground for what video games could be, you see, Doom, which is the game, one of the first games that was a first-person shooter that really clicked on. You see something like Super Mario Brothers and Donkey Kong, obviously. The Sims deserves to be in that same conversation.
Why is it still relevant?
Because everybody brings a little bit of themselves into the game. Everyone gets something a little bit different out of it, far more than what the developers ever intended. And how many games can say that?
Yishla. Rinishoop. Shishtawab. Yibs. Yibs.